Thanks for joining our monthly community webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress, part of the integration and chatbot product management team to support you as a partner. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available. For details, please see our monthly community newsletters. In today's presentation, Neil Kominski and Supani will give us an update on Oracle Integration Cloud. Good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, Jürgen.
Good afternoon, Supani.
Good afternoon, Jürgen and all.
Welcome to our webcast. Please feel free to post your questions via the conference questions and answer or Twitter #PaaS community. At the end of the webcast, we will answer them. Slides are available at the community workspace. Please do tweet and blog about products and services which are available today. Please do not blog about roadmap and future services. Objective of the call is to introduce the latest new services and adapters of Oracle integration. Certified adapters connect SaaS solutions like ERP, CX, and HCM with each other and with on-premise application. So let's get started. I will start with a brief community update and will hand over to Neil to give you all the insights of Oracle Integration Cloud, including a live demo. We will answer your questions at the end of the webcast. We are interested to run joint marketing campaigns and to promote your success stories. Therefore, we offer campaign kits like the community forum presentations, the open world kit, integration days, or cloud test drive events. We can also promote your events at the Oracle website and your services in Partner Finder and cloud services in the cloud marketplace. Here you see an example of a successful implementation by our partner eProceed, and we would like to encourage you to share your Oracle success stories of Integration Cloud. We keep them internal to promote you as a partner with our management and with the Oracle sales team. In this case, eProceed have successfully implemented a hybrid solution to upload an on-premise customer from SOA Suite to Oracle OSC. It's a hybrid integration with Oracle Integration Cloud and SOA Suite on Marketplace. Based on the success story, we offer you as a partner to run joint marketing campaigns. Like we can send out an e-blast to our distribution list, create a joint registration page, host a webcast to promote your service offerings, and you as a partner follow up. The first step is to update your Partner Finder profile, complete your success stories and share them in the Win template, and please offer a concrete service with a concrete next step. Some other examples of successful marketing campaigns. Like with Magia, we run a campaign in the utilities industry. With Intrasea, a chatbot for higher education. With Fishbowl, we extended Oracle PeopleSoft solutions with digital assistants. Or with Activate, we worked on the My Invoice solution to integrate to Oracle Business Suite. We continue to offer free hands-on trainings for you as a partner. We offer 2 different trainings: to integrate SaaS, a 3-day hands-on workshop, and to innovate SaaS with Oracle chatbots. The SaaS integration training takes place in India in September, in October in Asia, and also in the US. It's a 3-day hands-on training for SaaS consultants who would like to learn more to integrate Oracle SaaS solutions like CX and ERP. Integration and additional registration and additional schedules are available at tinyurl.com/integrate SaaS. As part of the training, we ask you as a prerequisite to complete the free SaaS and pre-SaaS exam, which is available at the Competency Center. As a follow-up, we invite you to take the integration architecture exam. If you like to innovate HCM and Service Cloud solutions with a digital assistant to Oracle chatbot platform, we offer 1-day hands-on training for SaaS consultants and mobile developers. Trainings include HCM-focused solutions with the pre-built skills for human capital management or Service Cloud solutions to extend the call center. We offer also schedules for EMEA, Asia, US, and for more information, please visit tinyurl.com/Oracle chatbot kit. For the digital assistant training, the prerequisition is a free online exam with an overview of the digital assistant, and we also recommend the implementation exam as a follow-up. For details, please visit thecompetencycenter.oracle.com. With this short introduction, I would like to hand over to Neil Kominski. Neil, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Jürgen, and hello, everybody. So let's start off just by revisiting what OIC is. Now, this is a slide that I created, so it doesn't have the usual, maybe it mightn't be as polished as some, but I think it does include all of the salient points that we should be looking at when considering OIC. Again, OIC is a toolkit with multiple capabilities. So of course we can connect apps with application integration. And of course, this is the focus for most people. Most of the OIC customers I deal with are, they come to OIC for this particular aspect, connecting their apps, be they SaaS to SaaS or SaaS to on-prem, etc. But of course, it also includes process automation. And this allows us to extend our apps, for example, putting new human workflows in Oracle HCM or ERP or NetSuite, for example, or creating your own custom workflows to suit your own use cases. OIC also includes Visual App Builder or Visual Builder. So Visual Builder is a low-code component that allows me to create native mobile apps or web apps on top of my APIs. So of course, it's very closely tied into process automation and application integration. So it's very, very easy to open up your enterprise systems of record to new mobile mashup apps via Visual Builder here. And Visual Builder can also act as a user interface for process automation if you don't like our default workspace offering there. We also have Integration Insight. Now, Integration Insight is not a totally new component. Like folks who remember SOA Suite will remember BAM. And we did have Integration Insight within the OIC offering back in the classic days, but it's been redeveloped for up to be OCI native. So this has been released recently. And of course, this is giving us the business user dashboards on top of our other components here. So of course, within OIC itself, we do have comprehensive monitoring facilities and metrics, usage metrics, etc., but all tailored towards more the systems administrator. Whereas with Integration Insight, it's targeting the business user, giving them business user facing dashboards on top of their business processes here. So for example, if I have an onboarding process that I've implemented here in OIC application integration between, for example, Fusion, HCM and eBusiness Suite on-premise for payroll and other systems for corporate directory and so on, then business users from the finance department and the HCM department, for example, could use Insight to get insight into how is that onboarding process actually working. How long does it take to get new employees onboarded? How long does it take them to get them into payroll, etc., etc. So again, here are the capabilities we have on offer. And of course, you can see down below here two other capabilities that are more lower level services, so to speak. The file server, which is the SFTP file server, which came a couple of months ago. So this gives you your own SFTP conform file server within OIC. 500 gig of space is what you're getting there. So you can use this as your inbox, outbox for file-based data integration. Now, so many customers, of course, need this, especially when you consider that many HCM and ERP integrations are file-based. We also include the B2B component. Now, B2B component currently is supporting Edifact X12, but Edifact UN support is coming soon. And of course, I think that's the flavor more commonly used in EMEA. Subani is going to go into depth of these two components here because while they weren't released with the August release, they came beforehand. Many folks still don't know about them. So we thought it useful to go through them again, that you can see exactly the new value add that you get with these two components here. Now, of course, pre-built. So when you look at OIC today, or yesterday, I should say, it was a platform, or a platform for developing your stuff. We give you tools, and you use these tools to create new, innovative solutions and so on. So you could well imagine if you have a customer who says, oh God, I need to integrate my new employees in HCM with a corporate directory. You can go into OIC, create the connections to your corporate directory and to your HCM and implement all of that. But of course, we do have pre-built resources out there, and they fall into different gaps. They have different areas, I should say, or groups. Recipes, business accelerators, and something called technical accelerators. Now, the recipes you may have seen before, they're on the cloud marketplace. But if we look now today, and this is where I like switching in, when you go to the home page of OIC today, you will see, the first thing you see is try a recipe. So in other words here, you are getting access to these accelerators and recipes that were previously in the cloud marketplace. They are now surfacing here within OIC. And so, of course, the idea here is check and see if what you need to do has already been done, or a variation on that is already available that you could then use as the basis for your development. Now, these recipes here, we'll be going into them in a bit of depth later, but they are example implementations, or what do you say, best practice implementations. And I have just completed a blog post on one of these, which was the HCM to directory synchronization, which was this guy here, what he's looking for there. This one here. Oracle HCM Cloud to identity management to sync directories. So you could well imagine there are situations where the single source of truth for employees, the corporate directory is not in HCM, it's in somewhere else. It could be SAP, it could be whatever, Active Directory and so on. So this recipe gives me the bare bones for implementing that. So it's very easy for me. I just clicked one click, you can install it and then configure it to point to your HCM cloud, your identity management or whatever downstream system you want to upgrade or update, and then you're ready to go. So that's just showing you that. Now we've also got something called business accelerators, and I should really have them in here as well as technical accelerators, because that's what's been released in August. Now the technical accelerators will be going into them in a bit more depth as well. The two that I have blogged on already are resequencer and the alerting. So the resequencer is the typical use case where we used, like in SOA Suite, you would have used Mediator for this. You're getting in orders and they have to be processed as according to the order number. So order number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get the idea. But the orders don't come in that order. So we could be getting order number 4, then order number 3, then 2, then 5, then 1, etc. So of course, the whole idea is I want to resequence those orders before I actually start processing them. And that is what this technical accelerator will allow me to do. So again, we'll be looking at that in a little bit more depth later there. So security, of course, very, very important. Performance, very, very important. So I think for you partners, you know that we talk about 60K messages per hour, 12 message packs. We have customers with magnitudes more of that, like 300,000 instances per hour is we've also got customers doing that sort of throughput. So performance is a performant platform, secure platform, providing us with all of these capabilities that we can develop our own stuff, but more and more looking at these pre-built business solutions. And of course, all of this sitting on top of our rich set of adapters, which are constantly being augmented. The two new services here, file server and B2B, and all of this running natively on OCI. So OCI, think of it as the operating system, and OCI has its own services as well that we can then leverage via adapters in OIC. So things that could be interesting for you guys going forward are the eventing service on OCI, the streaming service, the email service, the notification service, the functions, serverless functions, the logging service, etc., etc. So over time, we'll be creating adapters for all of these OCI services. The one that's been released recently and that we can be looking at is the streaming service adapter here. Now, naturally enough, we can expose all of the APIs that we've created here or that have been created here through our API management solution as well. This is, I thought, a nice slide as well, just to kind of put us in position compared to our competition, so to speak. It's using the tried and trusted Gartner pace layering model. But if you look here, the system of record is, this is the require integration, the core OIC function. So this is your kind of entry ticket into the game, so to speak. And of course, our whole area here is focusing on simplifying integrations, making it very, very easy for you to leverage existing integrations, recipes, business accelerators, etc. Or if you do go and create your own integrations, making that design and experience as easy as possible for you. Now, the systems of differentiation. So here's the idea here. So how do we differentiate ourselves from the competition? Okay, allowing you to create custom application extensions with process, for example, the whole area of VBCS, consistent customization across applications. Like with VBCS, you can use the SaaS look and feel to give your end users the feeling that they are still within the same app. Integration, of course, simplifies these extensions easily or greatly. And of course, the process automation, end-to-end flows of distinctive processes. And then we look here. So like these are kind of the better ideas that we have at Oracle. And then of course, the new ideas, the whole idea about insight. Okay, it's not that new, but the way we're doing it is new. So giving the business users this real-time visibility through insight. Making it very easy, of course, to use our different components that are pre-integrated out of the box to create value add. So the high-level constructs, these guys, app integration, process, visual builder, all integrated under the hood themselves. And of course, using OIC as the powerhouse behind, say, maybe blockchain when you have to go off-chain, IoT, other innovative services, which is digital assistants and so on. And of course, going forward, we're putting more and more AI into the tool or into OIC. Things like anomaly detection. Now, this is something that is not there today in the August release, but going forward, the idea is to have anomaly detection, working in giving you such information as I have a job that runs every Thursday. It's a payroll update, and it's a scheduled job in OIC, but it didn't run last week. So that would be an anomaly. Or another anomaly could be, we have an integration that connects with SAP on-premise, and it normally takes 200 milliseconds. Now it's taking 500 milliseconds. So this is the sort of stuff, we're getting through self-learning, making it this proactive monitoring, making it much easier for you to avoid major issues, so to speak. The focus area for the next 18 months. Now, I know that we're supposedly talking about what's here, but I just wanted to see where we're focusing the engineering dollars. So OIC on OCI native hardening. So many of you may know that we are upgrading all of the OCI or OIC Gen 1 instances to Gen 2. And of course, this is a new platform for OIC, so hardening ourselves on this platform. And of course, leveraging more and more OCI native functionality. Like I mentioned earlier there, the new adapters for the streaming service on OCI, for example. So making sure this is extremely stable and highly available. And of course, this high availability is there out of the hood out of the box today with OIC using fault domains within OCI availability domains. And of course, the rapid adoption. And here we're looking at these business accelerators and B2B here. But again, with the rapid adoption, it is this business use case or business use case focus. In other words, not just giving you the platform to create integrations, but giving you integrations, be they in recipe form or as business accelerators that you can use straight out of the box and making a really rapid adoption a reality. Development and operational experience, simplified user experience. Now, I think you've seen that those of you who've used other integration tools, you will appreciate how easy OIC is to use from a developer's perspective. But we are making more and more investments in this area here to making it even better. And of course, extended capabilities, not just providing you with integration, things like, of course, our inside file server, anomaly detection, and so on. One of the things that has changed as well is our release management. So we are moving to a quarterly feature updates release. So previously with OIC, every month you were getting new features. So we found that many of our customers have been overwhelmed with this. So the idea is going forward that we will have quarterly releases. And for many folks who are using OIC in conjunction with Oracle SaaS, this fits in very nicely because Oracle SaaS also has a quarterly cadence. There will still be monthly maintenance updates, like for example, security patches, critical fixes, and so on. But they happen, so to speak, under the hood. But the new features, they will be coming on a quarterly basis, and you will be informed beforehand, what's coming. Before it was a case, some customers or some partners as well would be saying, I went home on Friday evening, came in Monday morning, and hey presto, there was new functionality available there that I knew nothing about. So we will be informing you up front about all of this. So the OIC homepage will be updated with upcoming quarterly updates 2 weeks in advance. And there will be a link on the OIC homepage to the new feature. So you can read about these new features, see how they actually work before they actually become available. So that's just giving you an example, we'll go August, November, February, May, and so on. So for feature releases. Again, looking back on what's already there. So I'm just going quickly into Insight again. As you can see here, this is this kind of pizza train widget here, which many people love. But of course, the whole idea here is you're getting these dashboards out of the box for your business users, giving them business insight into what's going on in their integrations and processes. And of course, the business users can create new dashboards based on the data available here. So it really is what BAM should have been many, many years ago. And of course, ability to embed dashboards into applications. So it's not just a case of saying, okay, the business user has to log into OIC to see these, and these can be embedded in other portals and so on. Now the B2B, I will let Subhani go into this in depth. Okay, here we're looking at EDI standards such as X12, AS2, etc., etc. And of course, the ability to transform X12 documents into a format that OIC can process, i.e. into XML format, and transforming XML documents in OIC to X12 format as well. But again, Subhani will be going into depth here, as he will be on the SFTP server. Suffice to say here is you have this as part of your OIC environment, no extra cost. So start using that. August 20, we see notifications through the OCI announcement service. Now this might seem very banal, so to speak, but it's just kind of emphasizing how we're going to be uptaking as much of the OCI services as possible in this respect. And of course, you see these announcements at the top level, at the OCI console level, and who's ever managing there won't have to drill down and see, what's happening with OIC, for example. We've seen here that with the integration user experience, we've got the new OIC homepage, which you've seen here. Other things here are, complex assign, the data stitch. So the data stitch was a feature that was available a while ago as a feature flag. But of course, this feature flag is now GA. And so if you go into your integrations here, you will see what is available here. So this allows you to create complex variables within OIC. So I can go in here, create a complex variable, like give it a name, let's say vemp, and then I can set it to a value, and I say, okay, it's going to be an object, And of course, I'll say it's going to be an object of the employee from, here we go, just take that guy there. And I've got that guy there. So of course, this allows us to create complex variables that can be augmented throughout this integration here. And what else? That's the data stitch is the action that we actually use to manipulate those complex variables. There's the EDI translate that Sibani will be talking about a bit later, and so on. But you can see here, the usual characters or the usual suspects are still all available there, but that has been augmented with the data stitch here and so on. So there's some other changes here, converting basic routing to orchestration. Now, I don't know how many people actually use basic routing. If you remember, it was the only, when we released ICS, it was the only pattern available, but now not many people are using it, but we give you the facility now to convert that to an orchestration. And of course, the configurator allows us to do an awful lot more with the integrations. And it's just making things an awful lot easier for you. And this is what I was talking about, simplifying as much as possible the design time experience. Like if you go into the configure here, you see, okay, so what does this contain? How many integrations, how many connections, how many lookups, how many libraries, etc., etc. And of course, you can go in there, and if you want, you can go in and, we have these property values. These are values that can be set outside of the integration itself. So you can have variables that live outside of the integration that can be updated without having to stop, deactivate the integration and activate that integration. If you go to my blog and just look for the August new features, you will see demos of all of these things there. Okay, so some other things here. This is the integration properties. Now, this is very, very useful. This is very, very useful for functional folks as well to set properties there. These could be default values used within the integrations and so on. Makes it an awful lot easier for functional folks to set these things, and then they can be used by the developers within OIAC itself there. Now, there has been some changes to the process experience here. Some things like adding form filters, the ability to disable, enable events and forms, etc., etc. Now, the two new adapters that we have in there, the OIC streaming service adapter and the PayPal adapter. Now, the streaming service, very, very interesting. It's the first of our OCI adapters. The PayPal adapter, very, very interesting maybe for NetSuite use cases, because I don't know how many people will be using that in respect of Fusion ERP, but the PayPal adapter is there as well. And again, covered in my blog. If we look as well here, you will see that there have been many changes to existing adapters. Like the Taleo adapter has bulk export support now in CSV format. The file adapter allows us now to transfer 1 gigabyte of file. Okay, this is passed by reference, of course, here. And the ability to read, write, delete, and move operations and files through the connectivity agent. REST adapter is now supporting consumption of Open API. Salesforce adapter consume custom business logic in Apex classes as REST APIs and not just as SOAP, which was the case before. And a small, klein aber fein change here. No more uploading of the enterprise whistle in the connection page. You don't have to do that, which is one step less for you to do. You see here some other things like Shopify adapter improvements, HCM cloud adapter, better support for the HCM data loader, and so on and so on. So this is just showing you the streaming service adapter. I just did a couple of screenshots here. So it's like a publish subscribe here. So I'm going to produce to the stream and then consume from the stream. So when I'm publishing messages to the stream, I say, yeah, I've got a structure for those messages. It's going to be an employee. Very, very simple stuff there. And then when I'm consuming, we can go in here to this guy here. You specify it's known as consumer group. And within that, you say read latest. And then you're going to get in, what do you want to do? Do you want to specify the message structure? Yes. And you're specifying your employees again there. Now, when you go on to this guy here and you click on this, you will come to, says he, because I did this myself, yeah. There's the example of this one here, the streaming adapter. So I go into quite a bit of detail here about how this actually works. Why do we have this group ID and all of that sort of stuff? So I won't go into it here, but you would be able to go through that on my blog. Now with the PayPal adapter, I've just shown you things here, like you can go in here, specifying four modules, orders, payouts, payments, and catalog products. So I was trying this out with my PayPal account. Now, all I started doing was queries because I didn't want to start doing payments or anything like this and costing myself a fortune. But again, it is there for you to use. I think it could be in e-commerce use cases, may be interesting. I think more towards the SME market as opposed to the more enterprise. So again, the 2020 rapid adoption with the recipes and accelerators. So the technical accelerators, we should be looking at them at the moment. Now here's the resequencer. Now the resequencer, this is a picture that's actually in the documentation for the resequencer. And you can see simply how this works. You have some front end that's pushing in orders. And of course, those orders have to be resequenced. And they're going to be resequenced in a database table. And then it's going to be a dispatcher who takes them in the right order and sends them on to the back end in, to the business service that actually processes the order. So here we're getting in the orders number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. This guy here is going to store all of them in here. And then they're going to be consumed via the dispatcher, and the dispatcher processes them in the correct order, order number 1, order number 2, order number 3, order number 4, order number 5, and sends them on to the order service here. So that's a link to my blog post on that, telling you exactly how that is done. Now this is very, very useful. And the one thing though that you have to know about the technical accelerators is you install them and then you clone them. So like with the recipe, you can actually go in, install it and use it and edit it. With the technical accelerators, they are read-only. So you have to clone them and then amend them to suit your actual needs. So this example that I have here will go through how to do that with the resequencer in a huge amount of detail. It's probably too much detail. Another one that we have here is the alerting service. Now this is something that's very, very useful in OIC as well, because every app or every integration you write would probably have some form of alerting requirements. And you can externalize them in an alerting service. And then just use this as a generic tool that's called for many integrations. So there's another description on my blog here telling you exactly how that works, the different channels that are supported, and how you actually leverage that within your OIC environment. So I think these guys will be more and more important going forward there. Sorry, wait there. That's the technical accelerator. Okay, I think I am actually at the end there on that. So I'll just go back here one moment. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, to say, is there anything I'm missing there? No, I've gone through everything. Yes, I have. Okay, so there were a couple of other things here as well that I just wanted to introduce to you. The user-friendly names in Mapper. Now, this is useful for when functional folks are coming in to do the mapping. Now, I was kind of saying to myself, you know, what's the benefit? There's not very much benefit for me because I'm used to seeing the complex things and whatever here. But you will see here when you go into the mapper, you will see then that we have these user-friendly names available to you in there. So see, clicking and waiting. Here we go. So let's go into one of these guys here and map to get new hire. And let's see this. So there have been some subtle changes here in this. So as you can see here, you will have user-friendly names here, updated min. But if I click on the developer view, okay, you will see here, you can go in and you can use the functions, the XSLTs, all of this sort of stuff here now. So it's kind of like just two views that we have here. And maybe I'll look in the other one, which will give us the other view will give us maybe a bit more meat. Map to right, and let me see this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's go in here. New user. Yeah, this thing here. So you can see this here, the user-friendly names with salutation, blah, 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 and so on. And then when I click to developer, of course, I can go in here. I see them that way as well, but I can go in and you see here, it's a view only. I have to click on this thing here. And then you see, this is the developer view of it here. And that's when I can go in here and apply functions or XSLT operations on this as well. So that's just showing you that in the mapper there. Now with the integration properties, again, I say this is something that is extremely useful. And let's go in here to August 20 new features. And here we go. Yes. Design time. Okay, that's the Shopify, but let's go in. I just want to show you this one with the, yeah, here's the features. Yeah, design time variables, these properties here. So you can see you have these view integration properties. So the read-only data within the flow. So these integration properties provide a degree of integration configurability outside of the flow itself. So this is exceedingly useful here. Like you can use these in conjunction with the lookups to make it much easier for functional folks to define, to create define hard-coded values or whatever. Okie doke. Now from a just overview here, you will see, of course, that the usage metrics are available here now as well. And this is something that, of course, is extremely important for customers to be able to see, okay, how much of OIC has actually been used here. And the use of metrics have been augmented that they provide you now with the, if we look in here now, you will see settings, another one here. Sorry, there's so much new stuff here. It's great, but I'll just go in here with monitoring and you see the usage metrics. So of course that you can actually see how much has been used. And of course you can export this as a .csv file and then you can do your own slicing and dicing of the data in Excel, for example. Another new feature in this release is, let's go back up here to import export. So import export allows me to export the design time artifacts, integrations and processes and import them into another environment. So this will require storage. So this is why we're seeing this thing here. So this is where you're going to need some instant storage here. And once you have that, you can import, export from one OIC instance en masse to another OIC instance there. So again, these are many features here. What I would say is just here, there's an overlying strategy, of course, to this, and to make it much more function rich, make OIC more focused on business use cases through the recipes and the business accelerators, make the design time experience that much easier, that much more comfortable for you. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Subani, who will go into detail on the SFTP server and on B2B. And I will look on chat if there are any questions to be asked there. So Subani, over to you, and I'll stop sharing now.
Thank you very much, Neil. Okay, so we shall, so this is Subani. So we shall go through the B2B and file server features. So as Neil had gone through it actually, so B2B is one of the important features which is available as part of Oracle integration. And with these two features, right, B2B and file server, so you have got, a lot of scope to increase your business actually. So this is very important. B2B is very important for the companies who want to do business with the big companies like Walmart or any other companies, right? So this feature is very important for you to integrate with such companies. And so this feature B2B is available as part of Enterprise Edition. So there are two editions, Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition. So it's, B2B is available as part of Enterprise Edition. Now, if you look at the B2B as part of Oracle Integration Console, so it is available on the home page itself for you. So here, right, when you start implementing integrations, so with the help of B2B feature which we have, so you can go ahead and translate your EDI messages to XML, or you can just get the XML message and translate into the EDI and send it to the trading partners or any other companies. So so with that, let us get into the demo of B2B. So because I don't want to get into the presentation again, we have gone through it. So there could be standard schemas, out of the box schemas, which are available. And most of the companies, they can go ahead and leverage the standard schemas which are available, right? But some of the companies, they might need to define custom documentation with the custom schemas. So like, let's say I have just created a custom document here, B2B document. And when you define your custom document, so you just need to provide a name, identifier, and what kind of document standard. Is it Extol or EDI fag? So we are just supporting the Extol now, and of course we are also supporting AS2 protocol, which is just released in the month of August now, and then so you can just select a standard schema, or you can just create a new schema, and I'm just editing because I have already created it. So as part of the scheme, this is a standard schema, right, which you are seeing on the screen. So it has got transaction set header and beginning segment of the purchase. This is the purchase order which I'm talking, 850 purchase order. And if you look at the beginning element here, so here we have got purchase order. So I can just go ahead and edit the purchase order number, and I can see the properties of purchase order here. And requirement is, it is mandatory, right? Purchase order is mandatory, right? That's correct. And let's go to the currency. And in the currency, you might need to create, again, it is a mandatory field, and you might have to add multiple currency codes to your schema. So here you can see the USD, and I can go ahead and add another code here, and Euro. So I can just add what's happening. Okay. And INR. So as part of this particular schema, right? So I can go ahead and allow USD or INR or Euro. So if it is not among these three currencies, so I'll go ahead and reject that message, right? So that's how I can just go ahead and customize my schema, and I can go ahead and use this particular custom document. Let me just save it. And one more thing which you might need to observe here is, so you can see there is a dot in front of the currency actually. So which means we have modified this particular segment or element. So dot represents customized element actually. Now I can just go ahead and create integrations. So let me just show you the existing integration which we have created. So this integration talks about inbound EDI. So I'm receiving the EDI message and I need to translate it. So how can I translate that? So we have got multiple actions here. So which Neil had gone through it. So one of the action is EDA translate. So if you just drag and drop this action onto the canvas, generate, and okay, not a valid, okay. And you can see the data format, what kind of direction which you are getting the message. So are you getting the EDA message into the Oracle integration, or so you want to transform the data into the EDA format and send it to the backend applications. So these two operations based on the use case, you can go ahead and select it. So here I'm getting the inbound EDA message, and I need to translate it to the external, I need to translate it to the XML format. So here, so I can just go ahead and select the document standard and version. So based on the requirement, you can just go ahead and select. And what is the document which you are going to use? So here I'm going to use purchase order. So which is 850, right? 850 is the purchase order. And so you can see the document definition. So I can just go ahead and select the standard one, or it is not showing the modified one. So I think it's not pulling up, some issue. Yeah, so the document which you have created, custom document, you can go ahead and select the custom document definition here, so that based on that definition, it will go ahead and translate the message. Okay, and now I'll just go ahead and cancel this because I have already this action which is created. And I'm using the standard message. So yeah, in this, you can see the document definition as my PO document, so which we have created, which we have just edited now. So let's not disturb the mappings here. So because we just wanted to understand the EDA translate action here. And once it is translated, if it is success or translated with the warning message, so I'm just sending that message or sending the error message here. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and run this B2B inbound orchestration. So I think if you are new to this feature, right? So for REST services in the OIC console itself, you can go ahead and test your integration flows. So you can just click on test, and you can pass the URI parameters if there are any parameters which you have defined, and specify the headers. And let me get the body of, so here I'm getting the EDA message, right? So I'll just go ahead and paste the EDA message, and then I'll test it. So you can see it is successfully completed, and status, it says 200 okay, and you can see the XML response back. Okay, so we are getting the EDA message and translating it into the XML and sending it to the backend application. So this is positive case. Whereas in the negative case, so negative scenario, right? Let me just modify this, and I'll go ahead and click on test again. So you can see the error message, and we have got the error. So EDA translate action failed to execute due to the schema, right? As part of the schema, first element should be ISA, or we have gone through the currency, right? So if you modify the currency, so it should be the one of the currency code which you have defined as part of the schema. And so similarly, we can just go ahead and execute the outbound also. And I'll go ahead and test outbound. And here for the outbound, so we are getting the XML message as part of the input. And I'll go ahead and test it. So it should convert to the EDA format. and you can see the response 200, okay, and we are getting the EDI message back. Okay, and if you test a negative scenario, so order number is mandatory for all the EDI messages, right? So I'll just go ahead and test it without order number. So you can see the we have got why it's not errored out. Yeah, it is errored out actually. You can see errored B2B 01-169. So there is a missing. It has no data. Okay, so so you can leverage the B2B features which are available as part of Oracle integration to increase your business, and you can perform both inbound and outbound operations as part of your orchestrations. So that's about quick information about B2B. And now I will show you the file server. Okay, so file server is also one of the major features which is available as part of Oracle integration, because so it is important, right? So for most of the use cases, you would be using the FTP server. So if you have a standalone FTP server, there are a lot of challenges with respect to the maintenance, with respect to the cost, right? So you need to maintain your SFTP server, and you need to spend a lot of time and cost to go through that SFTP server. So instead of that, we are providing embedded SFTP server as part of Oracle integration. So this FTP server provides storage of 500 GB. So it holds 500 GB of files. It's a good news. It's a free storage which you are getting actually. And so I hope all of you might be happy to hear that it is a free file storage of 500 GB which you are getting as part of Oracle integration. Okay, and so if you want to just enable this file server feature, right, you need to get into the OCI console and go to the integration application, and that's where you can go ahead and enable the file server. So once you enable the file server, you can see this file server option as part of Oracle integration. So, and from the console, so you have got a lot of features on the console itself of Oracle integration. So you can stop and start the server, but please note that for enabling, you need to get into the OCI console, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure console. And from there onwards, so you can go ahead and manage the file server as part of Oracle integration console itself. So don't get confused with OCI or OIC. So OIC is Oracle Integration Cloud, and OCI is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So this is where you can just go ahead and manage. You can see the file system health here, and file SFTP server status, and idle time, default idle time is 240 seconds, which is 4 minutes, and maximum value which you can set is 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And you can also specify the authentication, whether authentication is by password or SSH key, all this stuff. And you can define the default home folder for the users and default home folder for the groups. And you can just go to the users. So this basically this file server you can use, where you can use kind of use cases like where customer is running on-premise SFTP server with Oracle Integration Cloud using the SFTP adapter. So they want to move to the SFTP server which is on the cloud. So they can move the files into the OIC file server and redirect SFTP adapter to this particular file server. So you can see all this OIC users which are created here, and for each and every user there is a home folder. And if I go to the folders, So I can just create a new folder and I can provide a, access to this particular user. So I can just go to the home and users. So let me just expand my user itself, Subhani. So I have two folders which are created here. I can just go ahead and create a new folder, file server. And once I go to create a folder, I have different options here. So I can just go ahead and provide a permissions and provide access to that particular file server. And once I'm done with it, now I need to point it out to the, so in the settings, right? So you can just find out the IP number and port, and you can just go to the integration and in the connections, so you can just go ahead and specify that. So OIC file server, which is part of Oracle integration. So you can just define the port and IP number and username and password. So with that, so you can go ahead and redirect all your files, I mean FTP server to the Oracle integration file server. So this is one of the integrations which I have created, so which will connect to the standalone SFTP and get the file and put it into the OIC file server. So it's a simple integration flow which I have created. So I can just go ahead and submit it. And let me refresh it. So meanwhile, so I'll just go ahead and show you this. So as I said, it is just a simple integration flow which I have created to read the file from standalone FTP server and writing into the Oracle integration embedded FTP server. Okay. I think it's trying to reconnect. So that's fine. So let me just go ahead and show you the trackings. So if you can look at this integration flow, right? So it is successfully completed of reading the file and writing it into the standalone FTP server. And it has got multiple consoles to access. So you can access through the file server admin console or Oracle integration or REST APIs. So all these features are available as part of file server. Yeah, with that, I'm done with the B2B and file server. Thanks, Jürgen, and thank you very much, Neil. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
So Neil, thank you very much for the wonderful update on the new features in the August release. Subhani, thanks for the nice demos on file server and B2B. So if you're not yet a member in the PaaS partner community, please make sure that you register to get invite and our monthly newsletter and attend the hands-on trainings. We are not able to answer all the questions as you posted many of them, and thanks for that. So please use our Slack channel. We will continue to support you with technical questions in the Slack channel at tinyurl.com/askoic. And all the trainings and the free online guided learning trainings and free online certifications are available at tinyurl.com/integrate SaaS. If you would like to learn more about Oracle integration, please visit oracle.com/cloud/integration. And you can try our cloud platform at oracle.com/try-it. And I will post also a link in the chat for our new partner playground, where we have ongoing permanent systems of Oracle integration available for you as a partner to test it, to become trained and certified. You find those information also on our Slack channel. So we will go through some of the questions. If we can't answer them, please post them in the Slack channel or contact us directly. So you can reach out to your Oracle partner manager, or you can contact Neil, Supani, or myself. We are happy to support you. Neil, and Supani, we have 2 or 3 more minutes for questions. So let's pick 1 or 2 important ones which are interested for the whole community.
Okay.
Neil, there's a question regarding SOA Suite on premises. Is OIC replacing it, or what's the Oracle strategy for SOA Suite customers?
The strategy is coexistence. In other words, we have new version of SOA Suite in planning, like 14C, I think it's going to be called. And where the investment is going in SOA Suite is in interoperability with OIC. So the idea is, as customers move more and more of their real estate to the cloud, they will be using a combination of SOA Suite and OIC. So SOA Suite can now call OIC integrations, and OIC, of course, has the SOA Suite adapter that they can use to call people processes on premise, for example. So coexistence is the way going forward, and SOA Suite is alive and well and kicking.
That's important to know, as we have thousands of SOA Suite customers.
Exactly.
And that's a great business opportunity for you as a partner to support those SOA Suite customers and to uplift them to the Oracle Infrastructure Cloud. And you can use SOA Suite on Cloud Marketplace, and we are working also on SOA Suite on Kubernetes.
Okay, so API management. Now, of course, Oracle has 2 API products. We have the API Platform Cloud Service, which many of you know and love, and we've got the new OCI native API Gateway. So going forward, the API Gateway is the strategic way, and it has been augmented with many of the policies that are currently in the API Platform Cloud Service. So from an OIC perspective going forward, we will be supporting the API Gateway. However, we still support the API Platform today.
Okay, so we run over time. If you have questions, please post them in the Slack channel. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. And thank you, Neil and Supani, for the great presentation. Thank you all the partners for attending today's webcast. Hope to see you next month. And next month we will focus on digital assistants, how to innovate a service cloud solution. Thank you for attending.